We enjoyed our home life together, and we were knit as a solid bond at Christmas time, and that was the time when our children looked forward to us giving them all we could in the way of entertainment. At this time, we lived out on the bald-headed prairies in southern Alberta, and Christmas trees were very scarce in those days. They had to bring them a long ways out of the mountains, sometimes in bobsleds, and there never was enough trees to go around, and especially those that didn't have too much money. On this particular Christmas, our children were very eager to want to have a nice tree. Now, Louise was the oldest one, and she was I think she was about 8 years old at that time. And her three younger brothers came along in a string. And Louise was spokesman for the kids, and they looked to her for being the big sister and seeing that we had things for Christmas. Now, Louise came home from school on this particular afternoon, and I'm going to read this little story. She wrote this story up about our Christmas tree and our Christmas for that year, and to me it's a very hallowed little story, and I'm going to read it the best I can, the way she wrote it. Christmas was almost here. Joyfully I hopped behind the old yellow road grader as it slowly nudged soft, deep drifts. The great flakes had frosted our little Canadian town in marshmallow icing that glittered now in the sunlight like a tinseled fairyland. Just about as radiant as the wonderful tree at school today, I thought. Christmas trees were very dear to prairie people, Mama always said. Trees were hard to come by, as we lived so far from the mountains. But never had I feasted my eyes upon such a holiday sight. If only we had a tree like the one at school. But we would be lucky to get even a little one this year, Daddy had said. And it seemed he was taking his time about getting it. I would have to remind Mama again when I got home. Home, and now Christmas at last. I flew over the last drifts and through the door into the kitchen, suddenly fragrant with gingerbread cookies. "Oh, Mama," I shouted, "you should have seen that tree today. It touched the ceiling, and there were hundreds of candles lighted, and the teacher gave me some crayons at the party." "And you're cold and wet," said Mama. "Go change quickly and give me a hand with the cookies." "Are these to hang on our tree, Mama? Did Daddy get it today?" Mama silently steered me into the bedroom. Later, as we finished the little fat cookie man, I reminded her again of our tree. "Well, sister, would you really mind this year if Daddy couldn't get one? Couldn't we have just as nice a time without one?" "Not a tree? Why, even the conies had theirs." Arguing did no good, so I decided to ask Daddy about it. When he came in that night, he smiled and reassured me, saying, "We've never let you kiddies down yet, have we?" That was true, and enough to satisfy me, so I was content to wait. And besides, tonight he was putting up the homemade fireplace Daddy had built for our stockings. Such a thrill it was to see it resplendent in its fire brick paper and sparks almost ready to fly out of its red tissue paper firebox. The time passed quickly. With all the cleaning to do paper chains to hang, and decorations to make. Then Christmas Eve shadows began to gather us into the excitement of a hallowed night. Anxiously, our young eyes pried at the door until Daddy finally came home from work, but his big arms were empty. Not even a pine branch. Tears stung my eyes, and disappointment overwhelmed me. It just couldn't be. Mama's playing Jingle Bells brought all my little brothers tripping into the living room for home evening. Slowly, I followed, and longingly I looked at the empty corner. How could Daddy let us down? Didn't he know how much it meant? Somehow that evening passed. The long brown stockings were hung. Prayers softly said, and Mama tucked us into bed. Strains of Silent Night floated from the piano, and flickering shadows from the red tapers lulled us. I sadly comforted myself thinking about Jesus and how he never had a tree. Sleeping in heavenly peace. Sleep in heavenly peace, sang Mama. And I did. Excited shouts from my little brothers suddenly awakened me. As I flew out of bed onto the cold, slick linoleum, I could hear them crying, "Oh, Louise, come here quick. Look at our tree. We have a Christmas tree, and it's right on our table." I stood speechless with wonder and delight. There, indeed, stood a lovely tree, and presents were heaped under fragrant branches. Our Father had not let us down. Such joy and excitement as we gazed and marveled at the miracle. Little did we realize then that this miracle at Christmas was our Father's own creation, fashioned with hands of love late on that Christmas Eve. One of the teachers, upon hearing of our indignant circumstances, had kindly offered him the branches trimmed from that tall tree at school. After drilling holes in a small pole, he had carefully fitted and nailed each branch into place, and a tree was born. That tree, when viewed through the eyes of love and faith, became the most beautiful, unforgettable tree in all the world to 4 small children on the prairie. Many years ago, Now, I'm just going to add a little bit to that. Louise has done a beautiful job writing that up. And to give you an idea of what happened, how we got that tree, and it looked like we were going to be stuck because I couldn't find a tree anywhere. And Molly Stringham had had this beautiful tree in her school, and her brother had cut off about a 4-foot piece on the bottom and all the branches and thrown them out behind their house. Sam came there about 10 o'clock that night. I don't remember what he came for, but he told us about this, and I went down there and got him, and Mother and I spent the next 2 or 3 hours giving birth to a Christmas tree. And it really served the purpose, and as far as the children were concerned, they didn't know anything about it, but we surely thank the Lord for coming to our rescue that night, and we had a wonderful Christmas. And I might say that we had to make the biggest part of our Christmas. When we first started out, we had no electric lights for our trees. We had just wax candles, and they were considered dangerous and not to be used. And so for our first string of Christmas lights, I took a piece of drop card and soldered a little electric bulb on about every foot apart and colored them, and made our first string of Christmas lights for our tree. And the children didn't know anything about that, where they came from or anything, and so I guess we were just make-believers and hypocrites to our kids. We had a lot of fun though anyway. So I'm going to turn it back to our little sweetheart,